Hi, welcome. This is Dr. John DeMartini. This is one of the most amazing and inspiring shows that you can listen into. If you want to be on the edge of your seats, if you want to open up your heart, if you want to expand your mind, and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me, busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail. OMG! What a great show we're planning for everybody out here today. Oh, my gosh. Hey, everybody. I'm Dr. Pat. Yes, it's a new intro. Edvin, one of the things we got to do with the intro for Benny is we got to get the one we're doing with Power Up, where we start the old intro and then we do a little scratch record in it. I don't think Benny's got that. So we should really show him that one. What we do, Benny, is we take the clocks music, which I'm still really working with them. They haven't said no. And we take that and we do like a little bit of it, like 3 seconds or so, and then scratch, do the old school scratch, and then we go into this. Just a sidebar on the creative.
I have the power up version.
Did you? Yeah, we can get away with that, right? We're not going to get
I would have to double check on that, Pat. I'm not making any close calls here.
License violation, censorship. Yeah. Cut me a break, people.
That's a tough one.
Here we go. I want to tell you this. Okay, so everybody that's new to my show and the network, here's what I want to say to you. In 2004, 6 months after what I believe is getting on my pathway and doing a show on the internet in 2003, and then 04 right here on KKNW. Yes, 2004. I mean, I know I don't look that old, right? But that's not the point. The deal is this. I got sick. I got very sick. I got a mystery disease. And I changed the direction of the show. And I started to seek out people. And I started to think, who are the people out there that are going to help me about something I don't even know what I don't know about? And I came across someone, many people, but I came across someone who's on my show today, Dr. Mark Mincolla. And he probably doesn't even know this, but when I came across his work and I was introduced to a level of understanding about the superconscious, the way of miracles, the mind, the way the mind works. And believe me, I have a degree in psychology. That didn't help me when I got sick. But I discovered something different. And I found that there are people, a nutritional therapist, maybe, much more than that, best-selling author as he is, quantum energy healer. That's what I'm going to talk about today. Transformed more than 60,000 patients. Probably he's got to add me to his list. I don't know if I make 60,001. But when I found him and I started to read and I started to understand, I still didn't know what I didn't know. But then he cured himself. He did. And when I found that out, I thought, none of the doctors can cure me, according to them. They don't even know what it is. I found a great naturopath that's working with me. But I just wasn't in the right space. I wasn't in the right energy. Did I believe I can cure myself? Today, I get to talk with him about his latest masterpiece, The Way of Miracles. Because when we hear stories of people that, under any other circumstances, have been told, you're never going to ... again. You're never going to ... again. You know, I just went through 2 total knee replacements up against all the odds where people would say, you're never going to ... that again. Today, when you think about integrating East and West medicine, when you think about food and emotions, when you think about the wisdom of the body, you're going to think about Dr. Mark Mincolla. Today, I get to chat with him. Welcome to the show, Dr. Mark.
Thank you, Dr. Pat. It's great to be with you again.
And have a conversation about why this book and the timing of it is more important than it's ever been. Because I'm sure you're up on the latest statistics out there. I'm sure you're up on what's going on. I'm sure you're up on addiction rates. I'm sure you're up on ... But we're talking about the way of miracles that works for anyone. What was your inside heart motivating action that brought you to write this book with this particular message? And welcome to the show. It's great to be chatting with you again.
It's great to be here. Thank you so much. Well, it's not very complicated. It's like this. I've seen 60,000 appointments, as we said, over 37 years. And when I first started 37 years ago, I thought I was going to be helping people lose 10, 15 pounds. I thought I was going to help them look good in a bathing suit. Little did I know that right off the bat, people are going to be coming in my office looking for help alternative to the traditional Western medical approach, the model that so many people were being failed by even then, and ever since, increasingly so as well. But people were looking for solutions that were safe, that didn't have side effects, solutions that were viable, that worked in a way that they could get their life back on track. So I started right away working with nutrition, supplements, spiritual imbuement, just working at a deep spiritual level with people, coaching at a level of superconsciousness, getting really deep within myself, connecting with my source, taking the work seriously, caring about people, having the compassion to bring them to deeper places as well. So together, patient and practitioner could go to source, the deep source place from within ourselves. And because my contention has been right from the very beginning, that if you're operating at a mundane level, you're going to get mundane results. If you operate at a supernatural level, you're going to get supernatural results. So I operated at a supernatural level, and I encourage the patients to reach in that same level. If I'm going to go there, you're going to go there with me. We're going together. So we would go there together, and time again, even every week today as we speak, still people coming in this office every day of the week have miracle turnarounds. I've taken part in thousands of miracles, cases that I never would have believed possible when I first set out to help people lose 10 pounds, look good in a bathing suit. Never dreamt that I would end up doing what I did. Yeah. Never in a million years. And both the patients and myself, the practitioner, as far as we knew, we were doing something that was impossible to do. But we were doing it with regularity, Dr. Pat, regularity, every day, every week, on and on. It still happens every day and every week. And I think that the most important thing is to acknowledge my mortality. I'm not going to be doing this forever. At least I don't think I am. And the objective is to understand that the world needs to know what I learned, the secret that I learned, the treasure that I ran into. I ran into this treasure in the middle of nowhere, and the world needs my treasure. And I just felt it's super important to make a film, to make a book about that treasure.
Yeah.
And it's a time in my life to share what I've learned and to awaken the world to the fact that they're miracle makers. They just don't know it.
I'll tell you, you and I could be sister and brother from another mother, so to speak. And the reason, that I say that is that we're going to talk about this book, and we're going to talk about this book in a way really that brings us to the point in time that we're in, because there is a calling. But I have to reflect back on the first book I ever got my hands on of yours. And I have to tell you, at the time I got my hands on it, it was like I was reading like a foreign language, but I got it, and it was Maximum Healing. And I got my hands on that book, and also the Wu Wei. And look, I could go on, but that particular book to me, I got accidentally. And I don't believe there are accidents, because there were two books that I was told to read. One was by Herbert Benson, and the other one was by you. And my cells had stopped working. Now, I don't even understand what that means in a medical, I don't know what that means. Like, but medical people do. Like when your cells stop working and your body, just like, right? I want to ask you this question. You are taking a powerful message out, the way of miracles, a book, a movie. You're going to be doing an upcoming 3-day workshop in New York, and you're doing it in September. I'm going to be back east. I don't know if I'm going to be there in September. I may have to come back. But what is it from the time you sat down and you put pen to paper for maximum healing? Can you describe not just the energy of your direction and path, but has the world changed so that we can now accept this and find a new way?
I think the world has changed radically in the last 10 years. And I think the short answer is yes, they're ready. But I think that the other thing that's important to remember here is, even though we're a mass population, a culture, if you will, of people that have been trained in programmed in the material sense, the material style of living, to think that we're just material properties, we're cells, we're tissues, we're organs, we're organisms, we're personalities. But beyond that, we are souls that are surrounded by bodies. And I think the important message is everybody knows at some level, in some way, shape, or form, that they are more than their physical material self. We may not be articulate at it. We may not be spiritually advanced. We may not be inclined as a culture. When you get one-on-one with a patient in a room and you're healing, and you're addressing somebody's terminal illness or whatever, their mortality is very real, and their willingness to go deeper is very real.
Yep. Yeah. I love the way you start the book out. I love that you're starting at your own journey. I love that you're talking about a situation that is real. Because when I read this, and let's talk about this, I found that this book was an invitation. Now, this is my interpretation of the book. I found that this was an invitation, and it was an invitation for many of us that have gone down the path and many people that have not. It was an invitation to step into a space of possibilities around miracles and healings, perhaps that they may have heard about. But the fact that you open the book up with your story is a personal invitation. You could have started anywhere, Dr. Mark. How important is it for us these days to share our healing journeys?
Well, I can tell you this. I first met the producer, Christina Brusella Bresson, 5 years ago. And we worked many a weekend together trying to pull the vision together for this film. And we had the outlines all drawn up. We worked hard at trying to conceptualize it in a way that was viable. But I think that is about 2.5 years into the process. Again, we're talking about telling great stories about patients who've had brain tumors that went away, and patients who are diagnosed with Parkinson's that are running 3 miles a day now, and incredible stories, these incredible stories. But in the middle of all that arranging and pre-production work we did, I was bit by a tick, a Lyme tick. And in the middle of our film, I was breaking down. I was getting physically crippled. I was paralyzed. The type of Lyme disease that I was diagnosed with is neuroborrelia, neurological borrelia. So my brain was swollen. And it's like having encephalitis. I couldn't walk. I couldn't balance myself. I was totally out of balance. It's like being drunk every day, all day. So I was stumbling and falling and mumbling, and my muscles were achy and full of pain and inflammation. My joints, my ligaments, my tendons, everything was inflamed and painful as heck. super painful. So long story short is, one night when my balance was starting to get really bad, I went into the bathroom before bed to brush my teeth and get ready for hitting the sack. I fell on the bathroom floor, hard tile floor. Hit my head pretty hard, but I couldn't move. I couldn't move any, couldn't move my fingers, couldn't move my toes, couldn't move my arms, legs, couldn't move at all, couldn't move my head. On the floor, dead still, paralyzed, completely paralyzed. Knocked over a bunch of cleaning chemicals by the toilet, which I was drinking and breathing in and swallowing, and I couldn't get my head out of the way to avoid them. I was on that bathroom floor for 14 hours. And the 14 hours was an eternity that I was on that bathroom floor. And I asked myself at one point, if I can't walk anymore, if I'm going to be paralyzed the rest of my life, do I want to live? Because I felt like if I wanted to commit myself and just leave my body, I could have done it right there and then. And I asked myself, do I want to live? There's a chance that I'm never going to walk again. There's a chance that I'm never going to be able to move again. Do I want to live with that possibility? And I didn't have an answer for about 20 to 25 minutes. I didn't have an answer. Did not have an answer. I couldn't conjure up an answer. And out of the blue, impulsively, I just started screaming for help as loud as I could. Help. Can anybody hear me? Help, help, help. Anybody can hear me. When I actually called for help was when I decided that I wanted to live. That's how I let myself know that I wanted to live. So the experience was astounding, considering we were looking to do a film about patients who had stories such as this. And here in the middle of the movie, now here I am having my own situation, life-threatening, agonizing pain and suffering forced itself on me. So at that point, I made a decision. I was on that floor. My decision was that I was going to survive. I was going to beat this disease. I was going to walk someday. I'm taking charge here. I'm not asking anybody to do it for me. I'm going to take charge, and I'm going to walk again. I'm going to have my life back again, and I'm going to be well again.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make this movie and this book sing. And I did. I worked very hard mentally, spiritually, emotionally. And I became mentally convinced. I'm very positive mentally, very strong mind, very strong spirit. And I implemented every bit of strength that I had to get myself back in the saddle. I took a number of different natural herbal medicines, followed a strict diet. But I beat the disease. I got my body back, my life back. And now the way of miracles is, the book was #1, first day in the marketplace, #1. So it broke #1 for new titles. And the film was just released yesterday.
Yeah.
Friday, I'm sorry. And we're just doing a great job getting it out there, and people are loving it. Pretty powerful stuff. But it was my miracle was the unexpected component to this film and book.
Yeah.
That happened to just manifest mysteriously in the middle of the process, incredibly.
Yeah. I love this story, Dr. Mark. And the reason I love this story is for a lot of reasons. And one of them I've shared, my own personal journey is how is it, and I just talked about this morning, Dr. Mark, how is it that this tiny little thing called a tick, how is it this tiny little thing called a tick carrying with it so much that could affect so many people? And this was my journey as well. I mean, I started a show called Lyme Talk Radio. I traveled around the United States, with Susan Green to advocate for law because nobody would listen. But the missing piece was you. The missing piece was the miracle part of what we're capable of. In the book, you talk about awareness. I want to go there because I've had this conversation with you before. I've interviewed you on your other books, but I want to go there now because in this part of the book where you talk about consciousness and awareness, you talk about the universe consciousness. Is it aware of its consciousness? But I'll tell you that this level of awareness especially when you get to the place where you get to, where I got to. It's interesting. Did that experience happen in a bathroom for you? Was that in a bathroom?
Yes, it was, and it did.
Yeah,
Yes.
mine was in the bathroom too. So I don't know what's up with the bathroom. I was in the bathroom and I didn't bring my phone. I bring my phone to the bathroom. People think I've lost my mind because I had so much pain in my body that I couldn't turn the knob to get out. And the more I tried to turn the knob to get out, the more pain I got. And I mean, it's interesting for us to be talking about this because we each get to a point of surrender. And in that point of surrender, something magical happens, something mystical, a new level of consciousness and awareness. These create sparks of creativity for us, don't they? And here you are talking about a film. We're going to be playing the trailer during the break in the show, if you don't mind. But the power of this message
Wonderful.
today, I know you didn't plan to release this now or could have thought about the timing of this, but that's miraculous in itself. I want to ask you this question. Do we all have to get to that place of surrender to rise up?
Yes, we do. That's the short answer.
Yeah, I was hoping for a different answer, but I'm okay with that one.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. The thing is this. The thing is this. You can't rise unless you've fallen first.
There you go. Yeah. Dr. Mark, I want to hit you with this question before we go to break. I think as human beings, and talking about myself, we underestimate the power of our mind. We underestimate the power that we have within us. In the book, you talk about the superconscious mind. And, you know, when I think about that, and you also mentioned Dr. Herbert Benson, I was really struck by this because it's interesting because Benson was one of the books that was given to me. And my first read, I didn't believe it. So I put the book down, never picked it up again until much later. But this leads us to something so key in the book. And I want to talk to you about this when we get back. It is our miracle making self. What? It's like our miracle making self. For so long, you know, we've come to believe that miracles are something outside of our control, that we can't do that. But you are creating an invitation in this book that says every one of us has that miracle making self. That's a powerful, powerful message for people. Talk about your discovery of that and what really leads to the rest of the book in the movie about the miracle making self.
Well, again, I think that the important point here is that there's more than one self. Everything beyond is, I like to refer to Taoism. I've embraced Taoism as a philosophy most of my adult life.
Yeah.
And I think of the Tao as singular, like God the Father or whatever, that which is singular. There's only one of those things called the Tao. Only one sun in the sky, so to speak. But there is a multiplicity of duality that takes place after that. Everything's yin and yang after that. So we have a duality that we are confronted with. So we're both divine and human. We're both vulnerable and impenetrable. So we're the dichotomy. We're representative of the high and the low, the yin and the yang, the good and the bad. We're a duality, period. So the thing is this: to attempt to understand miracles and to make miracles and to channel miracles and to create them from our mortal self, from our yin self, from our broken self, our dysfunctional self, our wounded child, whatever you want to call it all. You're not going to make miracles from that place. They don't happen there. They can't work there. You're in a different time zone. But if you find a way to tap into and to occupy your source, your soul, your most deeper, powerful, eternal self, And I think if you understand that and can occupy that place and to emit from that place, you can't help but breathe miracles in and out. That's what's there. That's the air that you breathe in that place.
I love this. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a short break. We're going to actually, for those of you on Facebook, we're going to play the trailer. You'll be able to watch that. When we come back, we're going to move right into the conversation about states. We're going to talk about maybe a little bit about the magic bird, but this is the discovery that is so important. And boy, it's so easy to forget. And it's right from, Dr. Mark Mincolla's book. And for those of you out there, if you're just tuning in, we're talking about The Way of Miracles. Fabulous book. The movie's even better. Dr. Mark Mincolla. When we come back, we're going to talk about these things called states. I remember the first time I was introduced to them, but here's really what is key. Right here, Dr. Mark says, our ultimate catalyst is thought. What? Our ultimate catalyst is thought. It continually alters material reality. And this is especially true of the highly charged thought that is called imagination. When I read this today, and when we come back from break, boy, did I need to hear this again from Dr. Mark. Again, another transformative moment. Let's take a short break. Please enjoy the trailer. When we come back, we'll tell you how you can participate, how you get a copy of this. And when we come back, I hope by the end of the show, you not only get the book, but we've said enough to help you know you are a miracle maker. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Welcome back. As I said before, my introduction to Dr. Mark Mincolla came at a time where I really didn't know what I didn't know about anything about healing. And he and I were just talking through the break. And most of you have heard me talk about the fact that 6 months after starting my show, which has become, oh my gosh, a pathway of calling, you all the best audience on the planet. We're so dedicated to you. We've covered every topic about Lyme disease. We started a show, Lyme Talk Radio. We're bringing that back because this is a disease, by the way, we think we want to forget about, okay? But we're bringing it back. That's not the point of this show. The point of this show today with Dr. Mark is the way of miracles. Please go to markmincolla.com. You can go to markmincolla.com, Mincolla. Just like me, we got 2 L's in our name, .com. And when you go there, what you're going to find is a lot of information about Dr. Mark. If you go to look at the books, you're going to find the books I mentioned. You're also going to find, a couple of the books about the Tao, about the Wu Wei, it's just a lot here. His whole health book and the whole health diet, all of that's great. But today, this is the story that is so important in the context of the world we live in today. And the film, best health awareness film in 2021. I'm going to say it again. Pre-order the film, please. Do it with me right now. I'm going to do it. We're playing the trailer throughout the show today. Best health awareness film. Awards across the board. And why? I'll tell you why. Because this is Dr. Mark, again, shining the light, bringing awareness, and opening up the adventure for the mind and the spirit. And it begins with the notion that miracles don't randomly happen. We create them. Dr. Mark, man, I got to tell you, thank you so much for bringing this out. Thank you for saying, wait a minute. There's a story that we got to tell to help people because, 60,000 people, there are like 60,000 more. I want to get to the part really in the book where we start to talk about what I didn't know is this idea of the ultimate catalyst is thought. But without the next part of this, we go nowhere. And the next part of this is you say it's especially true in the highly charged thought is called imagination. Here's the question. How does imagination help us cure and create miracles? I love that
There's a
question.
part of the brain. There's a part of the brain called the anterior cingulate cortex. The anterior cingulate cortex is a part of the brain that produces the same neurology. If we're imagining something or thinking about something or daydreaming or dreaming in our bed at night, not real in the material sense, only real in the thought and imagination sense. It produces the same exact neurological frequencies, the same exact neurological energy as if we're really doing whatever we're imagining. So imagination is reality at a different level. It's reality of the mind. So what you think about produces states based on frequency, based on vibration. So when you think about things like brainwave states that are like beta brainwaves are like the expressway. When you're traveling home, heavy traffic, crazy driving, everybody's in a rush to get home, benders all over the place. That's your beta brainwave state. That's a stress state. You also produce alpha brainwave states. Alpha brainwave states are meditated, they're relaxing, they lower the blood pressure, they ease your anxiety, they ease your depression, etc. Those are meditative states. If you go further beyond the meditative state, past the threshold into deeper level meditation, you're producing 4 cycles per second. 4 cycles per second in the brain produce delta brainwaves. Delta brainwaves are the key brainwaves at producing miracle states. So when you slow down your crazy monkey mind, monkey brain, if you will, when you slow down that monkey brain, you're entering into a realm of consistent flow patterns in your brain and in your mind. So your flow patterns there's no resistance. It's pure flow, pure flow. When you enter into a flow zone like that, you're capable of accessing remarkable information, miracle information, transformative information. You move into a totally different realm of being. So the objective is this: is to realize that there's 4 possibilities when it comes to miracles. We can reject, we can accept, we can expect, or we can create. So I say that the most important thing you want to focus on is entering into the creative zone. Believe you can, believe you understand that you are the miracle that makes miracles. And the key is we can actually engage ourselves at a higher level of thought, of beingness, and produce an energy field that is so powerful. It's virtually limitless. So again, like I said a little while ago, miracles they're given to imagination. They're given to the daydreaming. They're given to the probability that it actually builds itself in the realm of vision from within the soul. So imagination is vision within the soul to me. And to have that vision within your soul and your deeper source begins the process of creation. You're beginning the process of creating miracles from within the imagination of the soul.
One of the things that I want to talk about, and I want to just really bring to the forefront, is how powerful this is, because this is the movie where we're moving from this place. Let's talk about infinite possibilities, because when we step across the threshold of what you just talked about, for a lot of people, this idea of empowerment of imagination, is such a pivotal point. And also the imagination and the absolute conviction of belief is also powerful. Can you talk to the relationship between imagination and belief, what we believe in? Because a lot of times we can imagine things, especially for ourselves. But I know in my healing journey, the light bulb that went on was when the strength of my conviction of what I believed was like breathing.
Well, imagination begins the process of creating possibilities. By my willingness to imagine, engages me at a level of interior cingulate cortex, like the higher part of the brain, the higher part of the soul, the spirit, the mind. You're getting everything in flow. Then the belief system is destined to change, destined to shift. It's like so many patients I worked with over the years. When they initiate healing, it's like they first come in and they're sick. They have symptoms. They don't feel well. So when I start putting on programs to make things well again, to make their cells healthy, vibrant, well again. And they start noticing their symptoms are gone. The symptoms are clearing. That's when I attack them. That's when I juice them up. That's when I tell them, look at, you were what percent better are you? I was asking my patients their return visits, what percentage better are you? I don't know. No, you need to tell me what percentage better you are. 85, 90%. They start loading up the anterior cingulate cortex with that. So they're starting to, they don't know what they're doing, but they're loading up in ways that they're not familiar with. So I get them geared up to the point they're starting to establish visions that produce belief. So it's one thing when you just produce visions, that's a starting point. But visions plus validation equals belief. And I mean, it can be the lightest thing, it can be the smallest thing in the world, like insomnia. It could be tummy aches. It can be something real simple. It could be migraine headaches, whatever it might be. The point is, we can find a way to alleviate that.
Yep.
To ameliorate that, to fix that. And I go down the list. What percentage better is your diet? What percentage better is your digestion? Rather, what percentage better is your headache? What percentage better is your insomnia? 85, 90, 85, 90. You're getting better. We can build belief profoundly off those results. So vision plus validation equals belief. And that's belief that gets stronger and stronger as time goes on, because they're only going to get better. They're only going to get stronger. We're only going to keep asking them the same questions, and they're going to keep giving us the same answers. And we're going to establish a foundation of powerful belief that they trust and that they have strong conviction with.
I want to take a short break. When we come back, I want to talk about one of the most interesting things I've heard in an 18-year period, especially over my own healing journey, and which I absolutely believe today. Everything is energy. And if that is true, then how about using energy? How about using some of the innovations, the electromagnetic muscle testing? If everything is energy, then what can we know about the energy of miracles? Dr. Mark Mincolla, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk about how we get into this and create what he calls in the book, what I love, peak transpersonal living. Everything's energy, right? Everything's energy. Let's take a short break. Let's create it together with Dr. Mark. We'll be right back. Hey, everybody, welcome back. It's so great to have all of you tune us in and turn us on, but especially Dr. Mark. Look, I am thrilled and honored. I wake up every day and I ask myself, what is it about my day that matters? And sharing this time with all of you, you're the best listening audience on the planet. I have the best producers. Benny and I have been through the good, the bad, the ugly, and then some. And, I've got Edvin, Jacob, I've got a great team of people here. Linda sets this up. And then I think about Dr. Mark. And for those of you out there, let's give away some copies of the book. 1-800-930-2819. 1-800-930-2819. If you want to find out about the book, if you want to get the book, go to markmincolla.com. Or you can just Google it, The Way of Miracles, but it's Mark Mincolla, Mincolla.com. When you get
Amazon,
there.
Amazon as well.
Amazon, absolutely. Amazon, Barnes and Noble. But take a look at the film. Take a look at the trailer. We've been playing it during the show. Dr. Mark, look, I wanted to get to this point. We've got some time to really talk about it, because the end game for me was when I got to the part in the book and I said, oh, peak transpersonal living. That's what we want. That's what I want. It's so important. Talk about this being not just a thing, but this being a way to take in every breath we take with it.
Well, there's something in the world of psychology, as you know, called peak experience. And peak experience is more or less when you break through the threshold of the mundane. You enter into this completely different realm where there's no time, no space. Everything just changes. Time stands still, if you will. And people sometimes, if they've finished running a marathon, other people after they've given birth, other people after they've had a remarkable spiritual upliftment of some kind, some remarkable miracle event in their lives. It's called peak experience. And again, it's a moment in time where your brain and your mind unify with the universal energy field. And it's just such a different place to live. It's everything seems different, everything is different. You think differently, you act differently, you understand differently. It's a radical change. I say that that's a beautiful experience. Peak experience is a beautiful thing. But I say we get greedy. I say we have peak living. Instead of having the experience for a moment in time, I say we take that experience and we stretch it out throughout the course of our life. We transform our life and our life experience to the point where we're now formulating, we're now in the business of creating peak living, a peak life experience, to stay conscious at the highest level, to stay aware at the highest level, to stay tuned in at the highest level, to stay sensitive at the highest level, to stay energetically active at the highest level, and to be limitless at the highest level, permanently. Why a moment? Why not a whole lifetime? Let's get greedy about it.
I love getting greedy about it. And, you know, Dr. Mark, one of the things too I want to talk about is this is our birthright. You see, here's the thing that's always baffled me. Why would any benevolent energy, and everything is energy, why would any benevolent energy give us the capacity to be in that peak moment, peak living, the way peak transpersonal living? This is not a cosmic joke. This is here for us. This is given to us. What can we say to folks to say, yeah, not just Dr. Mark, not just Pat, but everybody listening, all the people you've worked with, how can we help them step in to this space where they're in this peak transpersonal living, where they have it for themselves?
The objective is to invite them just once, just for one moment, just one moment. And if they enter into that, so if they break through that threshold for 1 minute, they'll understand that they can stay there. They don't have to get out of it, because it gets to the point where it possesses our mind, it possesses our desire, our love for that experience. So just going in there once. And again, my contention is that if you go deeper within your source, get in touch with your source. There's a great exercise in the book where you actually look in a mirror and you're looking in people's eyes all day long. You talk to people all day long. You look at them and you address them and you have your conversations all day long. When was the last time you really looked in your own eyes for more than 5 minutes? Really looked in your own eyes? Nobody's ever done it. Nobody does that. Imagine if you look in your lifetime, people haven't looked in their eyes for more than 2 minutes at any time in their lifetime. How crazy is that? You look at everything. You look at everybody on this television screen. Look at everybody at work. You never looked in your own eyes for more than 2 minutes at a time in a whole lifetime. So I say, look, stop everything just for 10 minutes. Stop everything for 10 minutes. Go to a mirror. Turn off the phones. Lock the doors. Do not disturb sign. Look in your eyes and connect with your core, the source within your soul through your eyes, and just really connect and just experience you. Just experience you. And I think that that's a great way to invite people into this peak experience, because you are the peak. You are the miracle. You're the miracle maker that generates peak experience, that indulges in peak experience. You need to understand that you are the peak. You are the peak. You're the highest peak in your life. And if you don't start there, you haven't started yet.
This is so important, because I know probably when you set out and created this vision, when you had the imagination for it, all of those things probably couldn't have predicted. Maybe, well, if anybody could have, it would have been you. Probably couldn't have predicted that we'd be sitting here today in the middle of 18 months of something that went global around the world, that now we are in this place where we need to step up to the way of miracles. We need to step into the space. We need to know that it's for everybody. And you've given us a beautiful pathway and blueprint for us to do that. Dr. Mark, I can't say enough about the body of work you've done over a 37-year period plus. I know for me personally, just about every book you've written, I've read. I do my best to follow the instructions, but I have a forgetter. And I have to have a conversation with you today to remind myself of exactly what you're talking about. I want to thank you for everything you do. I'd love to know your personal message. I'd love to know what you'd like to leave us with today.
Well, I say this, that we are not who we think we are. We are so much more than we think we are, or so much more than we've been led to believe. We're truly eternal. We're exceptional. We're limitless. We're powerful. And the period that we just went through is called the COVID-19 period. What a perfect contrast. COVID-19 period is now leading to the period of the way of miracles. So this is the way of miracles period. This is a period to change everything, to ruin it, move in an entirely different direction, in the area of love, light, power, limitless capability, and miracle making. And we're all miracle makers. We're all walking miracles. We're miracle makers. So message that I'd like to share with everybody is you're not what you think you are. So become what you really are.
I love it. Dr. Mark Mincolla. Dr. Mark, thank you so much. We are here in full support of your message. For everybody out there, please go to Mark Mincolla's website. But more importantly, this is the book. You can get it on Amazon, you can get it in Barnes and Noble, but you can also pre-order the film. Best health awareness film in 2021. The Way of Miracles film trailer is right there. We've been playing it throughout the show. Look at the awards, but more importantly, as I said, Dr. Mark at the beginning, this is an invitation. This is for all of us to be reminded of exactly how powerful, capable we are. Thank you for everything you do in the world, Dr. Mark.
Thank you so much, Dr. Patton. People can actually log on to the film at thewayofmiracles.com.
Beautiful. Let's go to thewayofmiracles.com, everybody. Check it out. Share this, because people that you know need your help. Let's take a short break, everybody. We'll be right back.